Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, let me ask you something. How many times have you stood at the crossroads of your life, heart pounding, head spinning, wondering, which way do I go? You see, every one of us gets handed a map called life, but the directions? Oh no, they don't come printed. You've got to find them in the fire of experience, in the silence of reflection, and in the courage of your convictions. Let me break it down to you real plain. The key to making wise decisions is not just knowing what's right, it's having the strength to choose what's right. You don't get wisdom by playing it safe. You get it by falling, failing, learning, and rising again. You get it by listening not just to the noise of the world, but to the whisper of your spirit. Wise decisions don't come from a perfect past, they come from a purpose-driven present. Now I know what you're thinking. But what if I make the wrong choice? Well, let me tell you something. There's no such thing as a wrong choice if you're willing to learn from it. You either win or you learn. That's the mindset of wisdom. Wise decisions are not born in the comfort zone. They are forged in the furnace of discipline, honed by the blade of focus, and sealed with the fire of faith. Listen, every great decision begins with a clear vision. If you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there. And some of those roads will rob you of your time, your joy, and your potential. So here's what you need. Your mind is cluttered, your decisions will be too. Sit in silence. Think. Get clear. Courage. Sometimes the right decision is the hardest one, but if it's aligned with your values, your purpose, your future, you've got to fight for it. Commitment. A wise decision means burning the bridges behind you and walking boldly into what you've chosen. Don't just dip your toes. Dive in with everything you've got. And finally, let me leave you with this. You are one decision away from a totally different life. One decision away from breaking a generational curse. One decision away from launching that dream. One decision away from walking away from what's easy and stepping into what's destined. Don't wait on permission. Don't wait on perfect conditions. The time is now. The power is in you. The decision is yours. Clarity creates confidence. Confused minds make poor choices. This principle sits at the heart of every wise decision. When your vision is foggy, when your emotions are scattered, when your thoughts are tangled up in doubt and fear, you will hesitate. You will second guess, and more often than not, you will settle for less than what you deserve. A confused mind will always choose comfort over calling, safety over strength, and survival over significance. That's why clarity is not optional, it's essential. Clarity is power. When you are clear on who you are, what you stand for, and where you're going, you don't need a crowd to back you up. You don't need approval to make a move. You don't have to wait until every detail is figured out. You move differently when your mind is focused and your spirit is locked in. You stop chasing everything and you start aligning with one thing, the thing that matches your values, your mission, and your destiny. You see, most people don't lack ability, they lack clarity. They're spinning in circles, busy being busy, chasing goals that don't belong to them, saying yes to things that don't serve them, and the problem isn't the world, it's the inner noise they never silenced. If you want to make wise decisions, you've got to quiet the chaos. Get still. Cut the distractions. You can't hear your inner compass when you're tuned in to everyone else's frequency. Clarity comes from asking hard questions. Who am I? Really? What do I want? Not what sounds good, not what looks impressive, but what feels right deep down in my soul. What am I willing to struggle for? What am I no longer willing to tolerate? The moment you start asking those questions is the moment you start shifting from confusion to clarity. And that shift changes everything. Because once you get clear, confidence kicks in, not arrogance. Confidence, a steady, grounded belief in your own ability to choose wisely, to act decisively, and to trust the path you're on. Confidence doesn't mean you never feel fear. It means you no longer let fear run the show. It means you recognize fear as part of the process, not a reason to pause. Clarity doesn't guarantee that everything will go right, but it gives you the strength to handle it when things go wrong. It allows you to make decisions from a place of purpose instead of pressure. That's a big difference. When you're unclear, you make choices to avoid pain, to escape judgment, to maintain an image. But when you're clear, you make decisions to move closer to the life you're called to live. The world is full of noise, opinions, options, opportunities, but not all of it is meant for you. Not every open door is your door. Not every invitation deserves your RSVP. If you're not clear on who you are, you'll end up everywhere but where you belong. You'll say yes to things that drain you, stay in places that break you, and follow paths that betray you. Confused minds settle. Clear minds rise. The truth is, life doesn't get easier. You just get clearer. And that clarity allows you to lead yourself. It allows you to make moves without second guessing every step. It gives you the courage to say no without guilt and yes without fear. It allows you to walk away from good things so you can step into great things. And it helps you stand firm when storms hit, because you're not just guessing anymore. You know what you're about. You want to make wise decisions? Get clear. Clear about your priorities. Clear about your boundaries. Clear about your vision. And stop asking people who don't know your purpose for directions to your destiny. You don't need consensus. You need conviction. You don't need 10 options. You need one clear direction. And when you find it, lock in. Tune out the noise. Trust your clarity. Trust yourself. Your values must be louder than your emotions. That's the battle most people don't see. The war between what you believe and how you feel in the moment. Emotions are powerful. They're loud. They hit fast. They demand attention. But if you let them drive your decisions, they'll take you places your values never meant for you to go. That's why people wake up in regret, looking around at the life they built in emotional moments that didn't align with their deepest truths. Your values are your roots. They ground you. They give you direction when the winds of pressure, temptation, and impulse try to knock you off course. Emotions come and go. Your values are what stay. But staying true to your values takes discipline. It takes maturity. It takes a level of self-leadership that says, I'm not going to let how I feel right now sabotage what I stand for long term. Because that's what wisdom is. It's not making the easy choice. It's making the aligned choice. Think about it. How many people do you know who made decisions based on anger and now they're carrying guilt? How many chose out of fear and now they're living small? How many said yes when their soul screamed no, just to avoid conflict, to avoid being judged, to avoid being alone? When your emotions are louder than your values, you abandon yourself to please people who don't even know the cost of what you're giving up. There'll be moments when your emotions are loud enough to drown everything else out. You'll feel frustrated, anxious, excited, tempted, exhausted, and in those moments, you'll be tempted to make permanent decisions based on temporary feelings. That's the danger. But if your values are clear, if they're written on your heart, not just hanging on your wall, you'll be able to pause, breathe, and remember who you are and what matters most. The truth is, emotions are not bad. They're indicators, not dictators. They tell you something needs attention, but they shouldn't have the final say. That job belongs to your values. Emotions can scream, but values lead. And leadership, real leadership, starts with leading yourself. That means being able to say, I feel this, but I won't be ruled by this. I feel anger, but I won't let it make me cruel. I feel fear, but I won't let it make me freeze. I feel desire, but I won't let it drag me into compromise. If you don't define your values, your emotions will define your path. You'll keep reacting instead of responding. You'll keep apologizing for things that could have been avoided if you had just taken a moment to ask, is this decision in line with my truth? Integrity is not about perfection, it's about alignment. When your choices match your values, you sleep better, you live freer, you look in the mirror and like who you see. That's the quiet power of living by your values. You stop needing applause because you've got inner peace. You stop needing validation because you've got direction. You stop drifting because you've got anchors. It's not easy. Emotions don't ask for permission. They show up. They hit you when you least expect it. That text message, that disappointment, that opportunity that looks good but doesn't feel right. That moment when someone pushes your buttons and your pride says, clap back, but your values say rise above. In those moments, who wins? This is where emotional intelligence meets moral strength. It's where you choose to respond from your higher self, not your hurt self. It's where you choose to honor your character over your craving. And every time you do that, you're not just making a decision, you're building a reputation with yourself, with the people who matter, with the future you that's counting on today's discipline. Your emotions will try to convince you that this moment is all that matters, but your values remind you of the bigger picture. They remind you of your mission, your purpose, your why. And when your why is strong enough, you stop chasing relief and start choosing results. You stop asking, how do I feel? And start asking, what do I believe? This is the secret. The stronger your values, the clearer your choices. You'll stop wasting energy on what doesn't align. You'll stop second-guessing yourself. You'll stop letting temporary storms cause permanent damage. You'll start moving with intention, speaking with integrity, and acting with courage. Because you'll know that every wise decision is rooted not in emotion, but in principle.